The headlights on this 2004 MG TF are badly faded, so let's fix them. In order to do the job, I bought this Turtle Wax headlight lens restorer, which has ceramic technology in it, no less. And we're going to use that. But first of all, to be honest with you, they're so bad that I'm actually going to use some light emery to take some of the really heavy kind of corrosion and erosion off it, and just along the top surface. And then we can start with the kit then afterwards, because you can actually feel how coarse it is here. Well, I can. You probably can't, but I can anyway. So you'll see I've opened the bonnet, so that basically just means I don't have to mask up the bonnet. But what we're going to do now is we're going to mask up the rest of the paintwork around the headlights, and that will stop any paintwork damage being caused by the abrasive action of both the sandpaper or emery paper, or whatever you want to call it. There is a difference, by the way, and any of the other chemicals we're going to be using. So we'll just take our time. I'll mask around here, and then I'll bring it back when that's done, and we can start in on the process of actually sanding back the headlights. Okay, there we go. Now, one of the things people don't seem to know about masking tape is a lot of it actually has a time on it, and the time might say 2 hours or 3 hours or whatever. That means that you have to remove it before 3 hours if you don't want any residue to be stuck to the surface, or if you don't want it to pull the paint off or whatever. So no, it's not going to pull car paint off. But let's say if you're masking a room for painting at home or something like that, you need to make sure you remove the masking tape within that space of time. Or buy masking tape that has the duration of time on it that you actually need. So in this instance, I believe that's 2 hour masking tape, so we'll have it off well before then. But anyway, right, so next thing I have is I have a bowl of soapy water. Now, that is not dishwasher detergent or washing up liquid. It's actually car shampoo I've used. So we're going to take the little bowl of soapy water, and I have some emery paper here. I have 500 grit and I have 1200 grit. I would like to have gotten 800 grit, but they didn't have any in the motor factors, so we'll make do with what we have. So now I'm going to cut a piece of the 500 out, and just a little rectangle of it, and we're going to just start to very lightly wet sand the actual headlight, just to remove the kind of the raised plastic here, rather than trying to kind of remove it all. Or to kind of sand it off, but you're better off going light sanding for a long period of time than trying to dig in and get it done quickly. If you're trying to get this done quickly, you're at the wrong job. Now, it shouldn't take you too long either, for that matter. Make sure to keep the sandpaper wet. Alright, so let's just wipe off the water and residue and see how we're looking. Okay, you can see there where it's been sanded, but that's alright. That's going to come off. But look at the rubbish that's after coming off that now. So we need to just kind of go down a little bit further on the lens here. Now, I'm using very light pressure here, I'm really not digging into it. Okay, so the raised plastic is gone now, but the, well, there's a little bit there, I'll still tackle that, but the rest of it is alright, and I've kind of nicely blended that in. But it's obviously as cloudy as hell, so we're going to need to move on to our 1200 grit. So I'm going to do that now in a second, but let's just get the last little bit of the raised plastic down there, and then we can move on. All right, so let's get on to our 1200 grit now, and we'll see how that starts to come up. We should start to see results at that stage. The 1200 is very fine indeed. You can go up to 2000 grit, but after our 1200 I'm going to use the kit. Now, it has a ceramic coat stuff in it as well, so I'm hoping it will give good results, and it'll actually protect the lights afterwards as well. That's what it says it's going to do, so fingers crossed on that one. So now, take your time, just keep at it. You'll start to see results. A huge amount of this is by feel as well. You can kind of feel that, you know, where the coarse areas are if you just, and even hear it actually as well. So let's have a look and see how it's looking now. It's getting better. Okay, so I've actually decided to keep going on the sanding and to bring it all down to so that it all looks even, because what I'm actually concerned of is that there's going to end up being a line in it if I don't kind of get it even. So we're just keeping going with the 500 grit, and we're going to just get it all done and all down to that kind of cloudy finish for the moment, and then we can start kind of bringing it back to a fully transparent state. So as I said, just takes a bit of time. But in my mind, it's time well spent, because not only do you end up with much better headlights, and you can actually see where you're going, but it makes the car look a hell of a lot better. Alright, so there it is now done with the 500 grit, and it does feel nice and smooth, but obviously that's just not going to do. So we still need to keep going and get it transparent again. But we've got all of the damaged plastic and everything like that removed from that now. After the 1200 grit sanding, then we're going to go on to our turtle wax kit. I mean, yeah, they say on the pack that you should be able to use the turtle wax kit on its own, but I don't know. I just think that these headlights were particularly bad, so I think we should give them every chance we can get, or every chance we can. You just keep on going until you start to see a difference. Now 1200 grit should start to take some of that cloudiness away. And straight away it definitely does look a lot smoother. As I said, it's still cloudy, but at this point in time now we're starting to see results. Right, so let's move on to the headlight lens restorer, and if it doesn't yield results, what we can do is we can go back to our 1200 grit as well. But you can already see that the 1200 grit is actually starting to make a bit of a difference. And I'd say if you were to stick at that, you probably would find it's getting getting a bit better. But let's use the product we bought. Okay, so we need to read the directions. Wash and dry the headlights to be restored, yeah. Lightly shake headlight lens, repair and renew. Okay, that is the bottle inside it, so lightly shake it. And then avoid use of kit and product on hot surfaces or in direct sunlight. I think we're safe enough on that one. Use masking tape to protect surrounding areas. There you go. Apply headlight lens, repair and renew compound to a small cotton cloth and spread product evenly over dull headlight surfaces with moderate pressure and slow back and forth motion for 30 seconds. Buff area with dry cotton cloth, repeat if necessary to achieve max clarity. If headlight is not evenly restored, proceed to sanding step. So let's try the first step before we proceed to the sanding step that it includes. It comes with a little sanding pad as well. Okay, that's shaken up. So now here's my clean cotton cloth. So now let's see what happens. Use a bit more. Alright, so let's buff it off now and see. I don't think one application is going to do the job with this. No, definitely not. But it is getting there, so we'll just keep at it. I think I'll try that fluid stuff there one more time, and then what we'll do is we'll use the little polishing pad and we'll see if we can get that a bit better then. Okay, so there's definitely results here, but we're still a long way away from actually having this finished. So one of the things it actually says to do is to repeat this if necessary. So I would suggest it does need to be repeated. So we're going to do this. We're going to try it one more time. Now I don't think it's going to work, to be honest with you. I think what we'll have to do is we'll have to go back to, or we'll have to move on to the next step, and I'll explain that now in a second. But let's follow the instructions and see how we go just by following them. Okay, there's the second application on there now. So let's see how we go with that. I'll just let it dry to a haze. It goes on like a car polish, you know. So you just have to let it dry off, and yeah, we'll see if that works. Now, as I said, I don't think it's going to. I think we need to move on to the next step, but we'll see. We'll see. Definitely making progress there. All the same, like it is coming good, but. So yeah, so let's read the instructions for the next step. Sanding step. Use tap water to wet headlight and sanding pad. Use finger pressure on green pad number 1 and rub side to side over dull or damaged areas for about 30 seconds. Keeping pad and surface wet with water. Flip sanding pad over to side 2 and rub in opposite direction and only on damaged area. Wipe lens with a dry cotton cloth. Reapply headlight lens repair and renew compound for 30 seconds over entire lens with more pressure on sanded area. Wipe dry, repeat, and rinse, basically. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. So let's get our little pad out. And it says to wet the headlight and to wet the pad. So we just, to be honest with you, let's just do it like this. All right. Now here's our pad. So number 1 is the green side. So let's see now how we go with this. All right. So now, if anything, that's just made it duller, but that's to be expected at this point in time. Okay, so now let's try side number 2. And it says to go in the opposite direction. Get off the chair and put a bit of elbow grease into this. All right, so now let's dry the headlight. And now we're going to put a compound on again now. So let's do that. It's definitely starting to come good now. Alright, I think it's literally just a case where we just have to keep at it with the compound until we get it the way we want it. So, yeah, elbow grease is what's needed here now. If you have at your disposal a compressor and a die grinder, it would definitely be an awful lot faster to get a polishing mop and do it that way. I mean, it takes ages doing it like this. But that being said, it's coming good. Still not 100% happy. I think I'll just keep going until I get it right, because although it looks a hell of a lot better, they should be completely transparent. Alright, so given that the lens is still ever so slightly cloudy, I'm just not 100% happy with the finish on it. I'm actually going to try something that I did in my mum's car when I was detailing it, and I'm going to use some teak cut on it now just to finish it off and see how it comes up then. So let's Let's try that. Because it actually did come up really well in my mum's car. And if this doesn't work, then I think I'll just have to call it at that and just say it's as good as I'm going to get it. Right, we'll just leave it to dry to a haze now and see how we're looking then. To be honest with you, I actually think it has made a difference. All right, now let's buff it off and see. That has made a difference. Last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just spray it with this rapid detailer because it's great at taking off sort of residues and things like that. So as good as I'm going to get it, I think. You know what? That's not half bad. That is not half bad at all. It's definitely the fact that it's not yellow anymore is definitely a big win. So now there's a last step to the process actually here as well in the turtle wax kit. There's a little wipe that comes with it. It's a ceramic acrylic wipe, and you wipe it over both headlights. So given the fact that I haven't actually done the other one yet, I'll do that one first before I actually try that. I'm going to give that one more go with a T-cut though first of all, because I actually do think I can get it ever so slightly better, just even around there. But it's feeling good. It's looking good. So yeah, I'll call that a win. Okay, I think that's pretty decent at that now. It's certainly picked up the front of the car. They're not perfect, but I think there's actually a little bit of cloudiness going on the inside of that light actually, which is what's throwing me, because it's as smooth as I'm going to get it. And the other side, although there is a bit of moisture ingress in it, it's not cloudy. And after having done the treatment on it, it looks a hell of a lot better. So I don't know. I mean, I suppose I'm a little unhappy about the fact that the two headlights look ever so slightly different. But to be honest with you, a man on a passing horse isn't going to notice. And to tell you the truth, what I do need to do is I need to take out the headlight on that side anyway to sort out the moisture ingress issue. So that'll be just a case of going around the seal with a bit of RTV and just drying off the lens. So if I have that headlight out, I may well pop that headlight out and see if I can actually clean the inside of the lens. And yeah, I'll have a look. If I can do it, I will do it. If I can't, I won't. So yeah, I think that, yeah, so other than that, pretty happy to be honest with you. So we'll leave it there. So there's still a few more jobs to do. The biggest job to be done in this car now is the hood is getting replaced. So we'll be getting a whole new hood, roof for you Americans, not the bonnet. Yeah, we'll be getting we've a new one on order with a glass back window, so it should actually look really, really well now when that's done. But the car's coming together, so happy days. So thanks very much for watching. Please do hit the subscribe button before you go. It really does help my channel along and I appreciate it very much. And I will talk to you soon.